Paul, I suppose there's never a good time to lose back-to-back league games for the first time all season, although that is a sign of the season you've had on the other hand. But how is the mood in the camp ahead of the weekend?
Yeah, it's horrific to lose back-to-back. There's no disputing it. In whatever league you're in, whatever sport you play, you don't never want to lose back-to-back. So that's disappointing. And if it would have been the first two, the last two, whichever two, it's just you don't. But in fairness, you don't want to lose games. So the mood in the camp was a bit bruised, I think, yesterday. It's been okay today. Showed them some stuff today about all the great stuff they've done over the course of the season and all the little things that have happened, and you soon forget all the journeys you've been on, like you do your pre-season camp and all that, and you sort of forget when we held Josh Vickers' shirt up in Carlisle and all the little moments that make the historic season, where you end up, but you're still making memories. So they've got a lot to be proud of, and one of my friends texted me and said, look, if the league finished tomorrow, you'd finish second. Not true on PPG, but I like what he was saying. But so they've got a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be excited about. But I'm talking to you on the back of a home defeat and a poor home performance. So there's no point of saying anything different.
I know you asked a sort of similar question to this on Monday about how, with your form, with Bolton struggling, with Portsmouth dropping points, it feels as though no one wants to win it at the moment. Is that just a sign of what pressure does at this time of the season?
A little bit. But also, I think it also shows, which I've said all along really, that, any game at any time asks you different questions. But also, you're now getting to the stage, once you get past January, it's a weird concoction. And this is why getting promotion is so precious and so, not freakish, but so... when was the last time Derby got promoted? 1 in 20 years or something like that. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. It's so difficult. And the reason is, after January, I think there's a few things, but one of them is some teams play without fear. They're not going up, they're not going down, so they're fearless, which is the greatest gift in football. And if as a manager I could make the lads be fearless all the time, I would, as would every other manager, by the way. You get a little bit of that. You get the lads who are trying too hard. And anyone who studies psychology, the inverted U theory is a good one to read up on. But a little bit of that, you're trying so hard that you get worse, weirdly. And then you get other teams that are fighting for their lives and fighting for contracts and fighting for careers. So in the last 10 games especially, you get players who, are getting released from a League One club in 8 weeks' time. They're out of work, and it sounds awful, but oddly enough, they've just got a little bit more desire than they might have had 6 months ago. So all the games become a lot closer. There's pressure at the top, but there's pressure at the bottom. Everything comes a little bit more random. So the games you feel like you have control in early season when all the pitches are great, then you get through a phase of winter football, which we're sort of hopefully coming out the back of. The pitches aren't great for both teams, so the game becomes more random and more hectic, like our game was the other night. I don't think in either of the last two games we've deserved to lose, but I don't think we've deserved to win. They've just been two pretty horrific games, of very few chances at either end. So I just think now, I don't think there's this massive pressure on us any more than there is on Port Vale. Port Vale wanted to win. Charlton were desperate to win. Shrewsbury were desperate to win. Stevenage were for a different reason. And I just think it just concertinas into the last 10, 15 games where everybody's chasing everything. And I think the difference is that everything seems more severe now. Because if you start the season quite well and you lose 2 in September, you've got 35 games left. Now you've got less than a quarter of the season left. Every 3 points seem bigger and every 0 points feels worse. And that's what happens. It's the psychology of it all, I think, with the players, with the fans, with us, with me, with all you. I do think at the end of the season, and it is a fight of the fittest, the bravest, the courageous, the everything. So to get promoted, and I say this all the time, if 2 teams or 3 teams beat us to the race and they're better than us, then they've done well over the course of the season. You might get the odd decision here and there that goes against you, or an odd player decision here and there that goes against you, but over the course of it, any team that goes up, I will be devastated, but I will doff my cap to, because they've deserved it.
Tuesday was only your 4th home defeat of the season. You picked up results pretty consistently at home. Yeah. How do you get back to that on Saturday?
I think in previous seasons I've got up with about 15 defeats, so I don't get too obsessed with defeats. You'd be surprised to know. It's disappointing. I leave the ground mortified, but it's about trying to pick the lads up, showing them the good things and showing them, look, you know, in the game the other night, there's a few things that not tactically, collectively is probably the better way to put it, that we just weren't very good at. I didn't think we got many midfielders into the box. I didn't feel like we got up the pitch quick enough. I don't think our back line got up quick enough. I don't think we had enough guile about our play. And sometimes that's due to a couple of players being off sorts. Sometimes it could be with an energy thing, you know, from the weekend and going back to back. And so we'll, you know, pick the team that we think will give us the best chance to win. We never, like I've said loads of times, never set up to draw. We always set up to win. However, I go against that now. If we'd have had 2 draws in the last 2 games, it would have looked handsome, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. So I feel like at the moment, we look quite solid, although we're conceding. So I think against Barnsley, they had 3 attempts on goal, we conceded 2. Against Charlton, we had 3 attempts on goal, conceded 2. So I think we're doing quite well box to box, but obviously the final bit at both ends, we just haven't been as good as I would like. So hopefully we'll be a little bit sharper. But again, you know, I love Darren. So, I mean, he came here I don't know if you know, a few months ago, because he was taking a job. Although I left him the ticket, which always makes me laugh. I think there's not many funnier things in my season than that. So when I speak to him on Saturday, we'll change dugouts and have banter and everything. But a really good bloke. He's been playing 4-2-3-1, and then at the midweek against Fleetwood changed it to a 3-5-2. So I know it'll be a real tough game, and it might come down to a set piece again. His teams are always really well motivated, play really well. So I know it'll be a really tough game. So again, it's about us trying to pick our best 11 with our best subs, with the issues that we've had this week, as have Port Vale and everybody else, and try and set out a team that's going to go out and win. And again, I say this, and I'm not being flippant, if it doesn't win, then it needs to win the week after. And there's however many games left, 11 possibly, that we need to get, you know, 25 plus points from to give ourselves a right chance. So that is it. There's no rocket science more than that. We set the lads out in a positive mood. We ask them to get after them. And hopefully, we have enough.
And as always, injury update, Ryan Namby in particular?
Yeah, it's not good on Ryan. He, you know, I'd like to pretend that I don't know, but I do know. So he's going to be out for a period of time. On the good news front, James Collins is going along very well. So, I mean, the physios won't want me to tell you any of this, but as you well know, I'm really loose. So I think James is getting along really well. So we've targeted him for about 3 weeks. And now I've put it out there. You know, it's true, isn't it? I can't go back out and say it's not true. So you can put that on the record, and there'll be meltdowns all over the place. But like, he's getting on really well. Wash is out on the grass again today, done a few different runs this week, so he's in a good place. Craig Forsyth to join in again next week, so that's good. But the best news for me, and no fan's going to go giddy hoo about this, is Runes is on the grass today, and considering the length of time he's been out, and on the video that RamsTv kindly helped me make, we had loads of clips of Runes on it today doing his rehab, like James Collins and all that, and you can't get too downbeat when you lose a game of football. Like, there's all these other little stories going on all the time, and you know, everyone's rooting for the team, and we just stay positive with the team. So it made my soul smile massively when I saw him out there today. It was a nice thing. So I'm not saying he's going to be available in 2 weeks before the physios write more complaints into RamsTV, the manager's loose as out, but it's just nice to see him out on the grass, so that really pleased me. So I know it will give the lads a massive boost. So hopefully, you know, by the end part of March, we might have a Wash back, a James Collins back to help us on the run-in, which would be great. We might not, though. We might not. That is my caveat to everything I said. Paul Warne said we might not, but we might.